morning and welcome to First Christian Church. We have just a few announcements to share with you today. Thank you for celebrating Mother's Day with us. There's a brunch for everyone in honor of all ladies at 9:45. Today's service is certainly a special one. On May 6th, FCC held a ladies' luncheon. Thank you to all those who worked so hard to make the day so terrific. This week is the U.S. Highway 50 yard sale, and FCC will be participating with an indoor yard sale this Thursday through Saturday at the Solid Rock Cafe. We're needing volunteers to help us carry tables over right after second service today, and also volunteers to help us with the teardown on Saturday afternoon around 4 o'clock. Above all, please help spread the word and invite people to come shop this week. We already have nearly 45 children registered for our elementary summer care program called Summers Rock. This is an incredible hands-on ministry for our church. If you or someone you know needs a fun place for their student to be this summer, please be sure to get them signed up by this Friday. Plans are already underway for this year's Vacation Bible School. Mark your calendars for July 16th through the 20th. We need lots of volunteers. See Rose Craig in the children's area to sign up. We're enrolling for the 2017-18 preschool year. Applications can be downloaded from the church website or can be picked up in the church office or childcare ministry. There are more announcements in your bulletin, and don't forget that we keep our church website, Facebook page, and Twitter filled with the latest and greatest happenings here at First Christian Church. That's it for our announcements. We hope you have a great week.
Flowers. And a colored book. A green flower. A caterpillar.
A caterpillar?
Some flowers. Flowers. I would give her a red dress and a red a rose for dating for my daddy.
Aww.
Flowers and bubblegum. My Little Pony cocktail. Flowers. A fish.
A fish?
A snake. A reddish, pinkish, bluish, dark bluish, lightish, bluish, reddish, purplish, oranges, yellowish flower. Flowers. Sugar.
A sucker?
Yes.
Take me places.
I love it when she cooked a necklace. Makes me a necklace that she likes to sell. Sometimes she brings us at Hilton Head or my daddy or my mommy. And we play for the best time to the living. Cook dinner. Cook dinner.
What?
Cook dinner.
Cook?
Yeah.
You love your mommy's food?
Yeah. Okay, that's a surprise.
Gets a surprise?
Yeah.
Aw.
A microphone.
A microphone?
I don't. What's my microphone at?
What?
Daddy did take it home.
Daddy will take it home.
Oh, it's not home yet. Take it on me when I don't feel good. Get me candy canes. She feeds me lunch. And she gets me chips and chippy yogurt. He gets me candy? Play with me. Clean up. She helps me pick up my toys.
Yeah. Does
Help
she
me
leave?
pick up my kitchen too.
Yeah.
And my box and everything. I make a mess. But sometimes she doesn't let me pick flowers on the ground. And Mommy says, can't take all of them. That's what she says. But I want to take them. And the bees try to get them. And then when I went in that pile of junk flowers, yeah, and a wasp came on the tree, then I was scared and then I ran down.
Does Mommy take you to see lots of animals? Does Mommy take you to see fun farm animals? Yeah, do you love your Mommy? Yeah. Does she fix you lots of good food and take good care of you? Do you love your Mommy very much? Yeah.
I love you.
I love her. Yes, she loves me.
I love her a bunch. My Mommy, she loves me. I love you, Mommy. I love her. My person. I love her. I love you, Mom. I love you, Mommy. She's awesome. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, happy Mother's Day. I know I'm not nowhere near as cute as they are doing, but anyway, I'm going to start with a question. How many of you here have or have had at some point in your life a mother? Well, that's an obvious question. I understand. Everyone. That's why Mother's Day is so celebrated, because it's universal. Everyone comes from a mother. We all have been impacted, for better or for worse, with joy or for pain, by a mother. So today, even as we celebrate mothers that we have here with us, I invite each one of you into the message that I'm going to share with you today. The examples are drawn from motherhood, but the message is far more than just a message for mothers. It's a message for all of us, because it's a message of grace. Now, why grace? How does mothers and grace come together? Because as we celebrate the great joy of motherhood, we must also acknowledge the potential to reach the same measure of deep pain. Every greeting card will tell you that a mother's love cannot be compared for any other. The same is true for a mother's pain. Let's think of the first mother. Way back in the early chapters of Genesis, we meet Eve. Eve is the first woman created. She also becomes the first mother. She's the first mother that experiences the joy of having to hold her baby. That first time she's holding her baby, she's the one that gets to experience that joy first. And to see her children grow, she's the first one to experience that. So she's the first one to experience the joys of motherhood. She's also, sadly, the first mother also to have to bury her child. Her son Abel, who was killed by another one of her sons, Cain. With great joy came deep pain. What about the most famous mother in the Bible? Mary, the mother of Jesus. Imagine the incredible joy she experienced knowing that she was giving birth to God's Son, the Savior of the world. Yet how that must have compelled in comparison to the pain and utter confusion that she watched throughout his life, his ministry, and his unimaginable death. Imagine again the great joy that Mary had, knowing that it was God's Son, seeing the shepherds make such a big deal about it the day he was born. And a couple years later, the wise men, and seeing the miracles he was performing and the wisdom that he was sharing. What great joy she had. Yet what deep pain. When she saw that he was accused of a crime he did not commit. He was found guilty of that same crime. He was beaten, bruised, and battered. And of course, dying on the cross. She had great joy, but she also had deep pain. You see, in motherhood, we often imagine pain comes first in labor, and it ends with the delivery of a baby. While that's true, it's a very limited view. They don't tell you that in those labor and delivery classes that the cycle doesn't end. It's not over when you finish pushing. When you hold that bundle of joy in your arms, the cycle of joy and pain has just begun. Labor is lifelong, except there's no epidural option to ease the pain. Just deep breaths as you walk through the ups and downs. Every mother's heart is full and broken at the same time, over and over and over again. I know many mothers would agree with that. But let's be honest, the same can be said for all of us in different areas of our life. We live in a broken world. Therefore, our lives are continually marked by both great joy and deep pain. So how do we respond? Every mother has to respond. And each one of us, when we face the same challenge, we have to respond. And what I would encourage you to respond is by accepting God's grace. Accepting his gifts and what he brings to our lives. As we draw close to God, we're receiving his grace. And the tighter we hold on to him, the stronger we have a hold of that same grace. So we're going to continue to talk about moms in the Bible. The two moms that we're going to talk about in the Bible are not necessarily going down in the Mom Hall of Fame. They're not exactly well known. Matter of fact, one's name isn't even mentioned. And the other is only mentioned in a genealogy report. But yet, they endured. And they went through tough times. But they saw God's reward at the end. The first mother that we have would all date back to the Old Testament. Not quite as far back as when we talk about Eve in the book of Genesis, but actually the second book of the Bible, the book of Exodus. As we come to the first couple of chapters, we're introduced to this woman, but we're not introduced by name. It starts in Exodus chapter 2, verse 1, when it says, "Now a man from the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman." And this is the first mention of this mom. The first mention of her. Her name's not even mentioned. It's just that she's a wife of a Levite man, and herself being Levite. No wonder we don't really know who she is. We don't know a whole lot about her. But I'm telling you, her name is Jochebed. And Jochebed is the mother of Moses. You see, Jochebed was blessed to have this healthy son. But the circumstances of her life forced her to give him up. Pharaoh, the Egyptian ruler at the time, had ordered all the Hebrew baby boys to be killed. As soon as they were born, they would be killed. This is a military tactic. At that time, all the men were the warriors. So if you annihilate a generation of men, then you've crippled a group of people. So that's what he does. He wants to cripple them so he can continue to have this reign over him. Jochebed knew that her baby boy wasn't safe. And at first, she hid him the best that she could. But as babies go, they don't always stay quiet. They're not always easy to hide. So after a few months later, after he's a few months old, she realized that she cannot keep hiding him. So she has a choice. The choice continue to try to hide him, risk his life, knowing that eventually he'd be found out, risk her own life, and her whole family's lives, including her older children. The second option is to let him go. So the famous story takes place. Jochebed sets her baby Moses in a basket and floats him down the Nile River. Why? Why did she do that? The dangerous Nile River. Why would she let him go? Well, she understood this. She had a chance. He had a chance. If she kept him and tried to hide him, eventually he wouldn't have a chance. They would find him. So keeping him close to her was not going to keep him safe. They would find him. He would die along with her and the rest of her family potentially. So by sending him down the Nile River, she was giving him a chance. Miraculously, because we serve a God of miracles, the baby finds his way to Pharaoh's daughter. Probably the one person in the kingdom that the baby could have arrived to that would be safe. And just so happens that his older sister is watching out for him, because she's a good older sister. She watches out for him, and as soon as Pharaoh's daughter plucks the baby out, she knows she's in love, and she wants to take care of him. She knows in order to take care of him, he has to have a nursemaid. And that's when his sister suggests somebody, Jochebed. Jochebed received Moses when he was born, but then had to give him up. But as we can come to find out, she will receive him again. Sadly, she couldn't keep him. But for a second time, she would have to release him. In Exodus 2:9-10, it says this: So the woman took the baby and nursed him. And when the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, I drew him out of water. How hard, how challenging it would be to take your baby that you were so excited and had such a bond with and put him in a basket and send him down the Nile River to release him, hoping that he would survive. How hard would that be? What kind of courage would that take? But she had to do it. She had to give him a chance. And then she gets him back, but then again, she had to give him back to another woman to be his mother. How hard would that have been? She had to give up her dream of becoming Moses' mother. But she did it because it's what God wanted her to do, and she knew He would give Moses a chance. What dream, perhaps, is God asking you to take control of? Is it the dream of having a child? Is it the dream job? Is it the dream home? Is it a friend or a goal that you're hoping to accomplish? Maybe it's a dream for your child's life. But God's saying it's not your control. I will take it from here. How hard is that to surrender and give it all up to God? How hard is that? There's so many little things we hold on to and we want control of, let alone the big things. And how challenging the big things are. So how do we do it? How do we give up our job to God for His control? How do we give up our children for God's control? How do we give up any of this and just say, God, you take control? Well, Proverbs 3 tells us, and it says this: trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, and always submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. And we can take comfort in the fact that even when we don't understand the purpose, we can't always see the ultimate outcome, God's purpose is always in place. So the question that Jochebed leaves us with today is this: where do you need to surrender control to God? So what area of your life do you need to surrender control to God? The next woman we meet again, her name's never mentioned. We take a look at 1 Kings 17, and we're told about the prophet Elijah, who'd been hiding out and drinking from from a stream, actually had to rely on birds, ravens specifically, to bring him food during this drought. And when the waters eventually run dry of the stream that he was drinking from, God had to give him further instructions. He told him to go to Zarephath, where he would find a widow whom God had instructed to feed him. Sure enough, when Elijah arrives, he asks for water, and the woman goes and brings it to him. When he asks for a piece of bread, this is her response. As surely as the Lord our God lives, I don't have any bread. Only a handful of flour in a jar, a little olive oil in a jug. I'm gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son that we may eat and die. Pretty grim situation. The drought had been so severe that all she has left is a little bit of flour and a little bit of oil. That's the only way she could make bread. She was going to go home. This was her future. She would go home, fix what she had left, I'm sure ration it as much as she can, and then she would watch her child starve to death along with herself. That was her plan. How would you respond to that? And all Elijah's asking for is a biscuit, is a roll. This was her response. Well, Elijah was a prophet of God, so God spoke through Elijah, and this is what he said. Don't be afraid. Go home. Do as you have said. But first make a small loaf of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me. And then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. The jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day of the Lord sends rain on the land. So what do you think she's going to do? Well, she has two options as well, just like Jacob. The one option is she could stay in control of the situation, and she could watch her child starve to death. Or she could give up. She could surrender, just as Jacob did, and give her son hope. She receives her son, but she's preparing to release him. Well, she does what any mother would do. She gives her son a chance. She obeys. She does as instructed by God and Elijah. And it works. The flour and the oil, they keep flowing. And there's enough bread every day for the woman and her son and Elijah, who was staying with them. We don't know how long this arrangement goes on. But the fascinating and challenging part of this mother's story comes to an end. But it doesn't end here. Eventually her son gets sick and he dies. She cries out to Elijah. Elijah then cries back to God, and God gives him life back. You see, just like the Jochebed, she receives her son, but she was going to release him to starve to death. She receives her son again, only to see him get sick and die. But then, as God miracles, he gives her yet another chance, and he lives. And it's at this point that she tells Elijah this: I know that you are a man of God, that the word of the Lord from your mouth is true. She said, now I know. Apparently she had doubts before. But she didn't let those doubts stop her. She obeyed God's word every day, going to the flour jar, going to the oil jug, feeding her family, and this prophet that kept showing up for dinner. She acted to obedience to God even in the middle of her doubt. Well, you have doubts? Welcome to the club. We all have doubts. We all have doubts. We all struggle with knowing what's the right thing. And God knows that. That's why he speaks through Paul when he says in Philippians, and my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. But how often do we live in doubt? We live in doubt every day. And that's okay, because God can handle our doubt. But like the widow, we need to still do what we are called to, an act of obedience. To come to him daily for what we need in order to live. and for His guidance, His provision, even in the middle of our doubts, our questions, and our fears. This mother offers us the question at the end. Where do you need to trust God's promises and step out in obedience, even in the middle of a period of doubt? I want you to think back of your life, either your life as a mother, or think back to, either your life as a mother, or think back to your mother. Or maybe your daughter as you've seen her become a mother. There's stories attached to them. Each and every one of us can talk about what our mother taught us. Some of us can talk about what it means to be a mother. Others of us can say, as a grandparent, I see my children do this or do that. But I want you to think of a story, and I want to encourage you right now that somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear the story about your mom or about your spouse or about your daughter. Somebody needs to hear those stories because you don't know who might be going through that same situation. The story that I'm going to share with you today is the third mother, is my wife, Christy. And I just want to share with you a little bit about some things that we went through, and I'm not going into great detail, but there's not a pregnancy that doesn't have its filled with challenges. And our challenges started well before we were expecting. When we got news from a doctor or a health scare that Christy we could not risk her becoming pregnant. And that was very devastating. She worked really, really hard. And she really got to the point where her doctor felt like it was worth at least talking to somebody. We had to go to a doctor in Indianapolis to figure out what we can do, a high-risk doctor. And all the way, on our way up there, the whole way up there, we kept talking about the what-ifs, because you know how that is. You talk about the what-ifs. What if they tell us this isn't going to work? What if they tell us that she's never going to be able to have children? And as long as we went up there, we prayed this prayer that God would have His way, and that if it's not for us, then maybe we can bless other people, other people's kids. We just had come to that conclusion. Well, we met with the doctor, and he said, seeing your latest blood work, seeing all these things that have come to be passed, he said, I see no reason why you can't start trying. Well, obviously, we were through the roof, very excited about that possibility. And a few months later, we found out that she was, in fact, expecting. But my wife wanted a girl. And she grew up in a household of girls. She does not have any brothers. As a matter of fact, she had dreams at night about this girl. We had the perfect name picked out. I was convinced. I was sure that's what we were going to have. I mean, the top thing we wanted was for the child to be healthy, but I was sure we were going to have a girl. So we went to the ultrasound, and we see that our child is hiding their face, and just refusing for us to take a look at the face. Just had that hand right there. But there was one part of his body that he was not hiding. And every ultrasound from that point forward, he was not hiding that part of the body. And it was a boy, obviously. Now, if you know Anderson, chances are he was sucking his thumb. Some people said he was groping. He could have been any one of those things. But we do not own an ultrasound picture that you see his face. We own several that we see another part of the body, but not his face. So he was very proud, I guess. But that wasn't what we expected. And it was hard. Because when you go into something expecting something that's not it, sometimes it's easier to run through the punches, and sometimes it's not. This is what we thought it was going to be. But Christy felt like she couldn't say anything to anybody because she didn't want to be judged and saying, I really was hoping for a girl and now I'm going to end up with a boy. Like I said, she grew up in a household with no brothers. She didn't have any boys. She didn't know what it was like. When we got married, there's a lot of things she learned that she's still trying to fix in me, but that's a different story. I grew up in a house full of boys. So I was excited, but I could tell I had to be there for her. And people that we did say, you know, we were just hoping for this. And a lot of people were really good. Some people kept saying, you hold them for the first time and it will change everything. Once you see, lay eyes on them, it will change everything. Well, that's easier said than done, right? When you've never experienced that, you think in the back of your mind, oh, that's just a cliche thing to say. So, again, Christy had several health issues throughout the pregnancy that every time we went to the doctor, there's something else we had to figure out. And I'll never forget when the doctor comes in there, and we're getting pretty far along at this point, and he taps right there on Christy and says, we're going to have to do a C-section. Now, why did he do that? He tapped right there and said that because he was tapping on Anderson's head. He was breached, and he knew the only way we could deliver him was through the C-section. Now, Christy and I both came from C-sections because of pregnancy complications, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary for us, but we knew that that's what we had to do. So we had the date picked out. We told very few people when that was, and we went in there. And everybody I talked to, I found out we were going to have a C-section. All the men would come up to me and say, don't look past the curtain. You know what that is. Don't look past the curtain. You do not want to see it. Telling me not to do something is like an invitation to do it. So I told the doctor, I said, let me know when you start in. So they get her prepped, and they said, all right, you know, you need to sit by your wife and hold her hand, tell her everything's going to be okay. So I'm right there, I'm doing that. And the doctor said, we're going to start. I said, wait, I got to peek over here. So I didn't listen. I peeked over the curtain. I did fine. I did okay. So I see him being born, and the whole thing, you know, you've been through it, the whole thing is kind of surreal at first. And when we they lay him aside, and he catches his mom and I, he lets out this big smile. Now, I've had people say that he can't do that, he's too young, da-da-da-da. Well, you know what? We have a doctor and a full room of nurses, and the two of us said, that's exactly what happened. And I think he smiled at his mom because he told her it was all right. You know, and he knew she was going to take good care of him. And he smiled at her just saying, I love you, Mom, it's going to be okay. And you know, Christy's first thing she said is how beautiful he was. And I think that's what he was saying when he smiled at Christy. It's going to be okay. We're going to have some fun together. And I think he looked at me and smiled and said, Dad, you know what we're going to get into. You know. I honestly believe that's what he meant when he smiled at me. You know. I love being a parent, parenting with Christy. I love what Tom said earlier about mothers. They just know. And every time we come across some dilemma, it is. Christy automatically knows what to do and how to do it, how to take care of it. And I question her. And she's always right when I question her. So one of these days I'm just going to say, okay, dear, you're right. I just need to listen. But she said something a couple months ago that really sticks with me. And it was very deep, very profound. She said, you know, I wanted a girl. Yes, dear, I know that. And she said, but the girl would have been for me. We had a boy because that's what other people needed. And that's what God needed. That's why we had a boy. And I don't know if it was so secret, but all of our family wanted a boy too. They didn't really tell us because they knew she wanted a girl. But they all wanted a boy too. And he's the first grandchild on her side, the first local one on my side. So the grandparents are obviously good and gone over it. And he loves all his aunts and uncles. He gives these big bear hugs. It's just crazy. He loves on them. And an aunt that I had that was like a second mother to me growing up, there were some situations why she couldn't see him immediately. And she saw him when he was several months old by this point, and he just lunged at her. Just hugged on her and kissed on her the first time he saw her. And of course, if that ever happened to you, the same thing would happen. She just melted. And I know he does that for various people in our church, and I hesitate to name names because I'm going to forget somebody, but that's okay. I love you, and I respect you, and I thank you for everything you do. But every day at preschool, he walks in, he flashes Frances a smile. He's always so excited to see her. He calls Carlene Cookie. I think that's more of a request than her name, but love Shane and Heather. And the other day, I'm sitting in the hallway holding his hand I'm not holding his hand because I don't want him to get away. While he's welcoming the preschoolers in that you saw in the film. He's welcoming them all in, giving them high fives, getting all excited. And then all of a sudden, he slips out of my hand and he takes off. Everybody would say, Joel, you got to get him walking. Yeah, right. They didn't think of all that stuff. But anyway, he comes daring down the hallway and then embraces Rose. And he's just ready to go. And he just has had that ability to love those around him, to be personable. My brother, when we had him, was in the middle of a divorce. He's brought light to that. We've had other family members going through tough times, and he just puts that smile on their face. And he has that ability. Christy has the wisdom to know that it wasn't for us. It was for God. We have incredible hope. Incredible hope. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things God works for the good for those who love him and be called according to his purpose. We all have redemption. Even when we're told something can't happen, just as Christy and I were told, in the end, God has control. God is in control. And we have redemption. Joseph, who'd been sold into slavery, who had been beaten and treated horribly by his family, says this in Genesis 50:20. You intended to harm me, but God intended for good, to accomplish what's being done in saving the many lives. He's talking about his brothers who sold him into slavery, but God had a bigger picture. This is how life works. You are intended to harm me. That's when we take a look at our world, when we take a look at Satan, we look at him and say, you intend harm for me. The situation you're going through, you intend to destroy me. But God's going to turn around for the good. Are you living a story in need of redemption? Or do you have a redeeming story that you need to share with other people? As we take a look back at the mothers of the Old Testament and picture the mothers of today, just like I shared with you already, we're brought to today. A day of honor. A day to celebrate mothers. And as a mother really wants for Mother's Day. And I think what every mother wants on this day is what they want for every day. To be able to fix a broken world. To mend broken hearts. To hold the ones they love tight. And to be enough. But they can't. None of us can. In that dark reality where mother's hearts breaks, where all of our hearts break, there is space for only one. One who is enough. Jesus alone is enough. He is the one in control, as we've learned from John today. He is the one that provides, as we learn from the widow. And He's the one that's giving us daily redemption to have joy and pain through our stories that we just shared. Let His grace pour through and fill every crack, not just today when you go to dinner or when you spend time together or when you put fresh flowers in the vase on the table, but every day, every moment, whether the dishes are piling up, whether the load of laundry is yet to be due, through the muddy shoes, through the looming deadlines, through the unanswered emails, the broken curfews, the harsh words, the tears behind the bathroom door. It just takes a deep breath, lift your head up, and walk out for some more. God says in 2 Corinthians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made in weakness. Therefore, boast all more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. I think that's the promise to every mother and to each one of us today. Lean into the realities of life, no matter how hard they may be. Because real life is messy. Real life has joyful moments, but it also has painful moments. It is always better than creating the perfect appearance. Real is where grace shows up and draws our hearts to God. So as the musicians come forward, wherever you find yourself today, Whether you need to be like Jochebed and surrender your control. Whether you're like the widow who's needing to take that step deeper through trust and obedience, or whether you're like any of our stories, we have redemption. Let's allow our lives to reflect the true heart of a mother, filled with great joy and deep pain, but covered in His grace, which is always enough. This week, we took a trip with the seniors to Camp Allendale, and they have an incredible mission statement that I think speaks to the heart of every mother. It speaks to the heart of every parent. And the mission statement is this: if we don't reach the hearts of today, they will break our hearts tomorrow. A mother's heart. A mother's heart wants what's best for their children. And a mother's heart is something that we all admire, something we all cling to, and something we're all called to as well. If anyone has any decisions to make today, whether it's to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, whether it's just you're just going through a tough time and you need that extra little dose of prayer and encouragement, whether you're ready to accept Jesus Christ as Lord of your life, or ready to be a member here at our church at First Christian, we'd love to have you as part of our family. Whatever God is leading you, whatever direction God is leading you, make that decision known today. As we enter into this time of decision, and as we enter into the final moments of our worship here today. Let's stand as we sing.